So in the last video I left you at Weymouth railway station, promising maybe a little bonus on the Monday, so here I am on this footpath just at the side of Weymouth railway station, a footpath that has actually been called the track. And why is that? Well, if you're as old as me, you'll probably remember why, because I'm going to walk the route of the Weymouth Tramway. Yeah, so here we are. The main railway station is still over there, and it's a terminus. But to my left and over here is the very start of the Weymouth Tramway. So trains that were bound for Weymouth quayside and then on to pick up steamers, ferries across the channel and across to Guernsey would have come down this tramway and then gone right through the streets of Weymouth. And if you're as old as me, then you can remember seeing videos and films, and indeed they are there on YouTube if you want to see, of trains actually running right through the town with a man waving a flag in front of them. So yes, we'll just walk up to the top of the car park here, have a little squint at Tramway Junction, and then yeah, let's follow these old rusty lines and see if we can track them all the way down to the quayside, where I think there's still a station. So it's quite interesting that there's still quite so much of the old tramway or the old track line coming down the side of this car park. I'm guessing that's because it's owned by somebody, the right of way. But in fact, when we get here, right at the top at the junction, there's still a red light. We're at the junction here where the boat train would peel off from the main line, avoiding the main part of the railway station and coming down here along to the quayside. So yeah, let's retrace our steps. Oh, and as I'm chatting here, have a look at the map that the edit team's just put up, and you can see on Open Railway Map there's still a dotted line marking the route of the old tramway, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. And I understand that although roads have obviously been relaid quite a lot since the tramway was last used in, I think, about 1999, they have still retained tracks in various places to, you know, retain that sort of memory of the route that used to be here. So let's see if we can find some of those old tracks. Come along, let's get down there. And just the one track left along this piece of pathway, giving us an indicator of which way to go. Well, that was a surprise little side street. Weymouth proving to be full of surprises. As you'd expect, no sign of track works along this busy section of the road. Time for a short diversion to have a little look at the water, the River Wey coming down to, well, the mouth. Of course, ordinarily I'd be first one for walking along by the waterside, but no. Our aim today is to follow the railway line, so let's rejoin the road here. Well, there's not much to see along here, but maybe the railway line was a bit nearer the water's edge back in the 20th century. And a little short diversion to the marina, but I think, yeah, oh, I can see some railway lines. So let's head on a bit further forward. And here the tracks swing out to the right to be near the water's edge, and I think that's because this curve coming up here would be far too tight if the line had stayed in close to where the houses are now, so therefore it creates a nice swooping curve out towards the edge where the boats are. And as the heritage sign reminds us, Weymouth was the place for landing all the Guernsey tomatoes, and in the days before we could fly tomatoes in from places like Spain, then Guernsey was the place for tomato growing, and they would ship in here to Weymouth and then on to trains all over the UK. I'm sure there are many older viewers who remember Guernsey Toms. When I was reading up on this, I believe that the train used to pass through the archway that I'm going to walk to on the left, and then it was rerouted to the new archway on the right. As you can see, there's still a warning saying deep rail tracks. Well, you'd have certainly got a lovely view out of your train window as you chugged along here at walking pace on the way to the ferry. And there we go, Weymouth Dockside with a little bit of commercial railway platforming, I think. Probably just for unloading stuff and putting it straight into railway trucks here on the quayside. Not quite yet down as far as the harbour where the ferry would actually depart. So this is very much the pace that you would have been coming along if you'd been in the train, just with the man in front waving the flag. Oh, and then stopping at various points when parked cars had to be bounced out of the way. And so here we are, the railway tracks lead us on to the site of the old quayside railway station. And yeah, not a lot to see. If we look back, the tracks are very clear, so there's a passing loop here. The engines would have had to run around. When I looked on Google Street View, there was still a building along this platform area, but that's now gone and obviously part of an overall redevelopment process for this part of the quayside. So just in the distance there, maybe that's the ramp along which the vehicles would go into the belly of the ferries. I hope you enjoyed that brief look at the route of the old Weymouth Tramway that brings you down here to the quayside and the old port. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching this little Monday bonus.